I met with a new client during the week who's only 12 years old, and mum and dad had brought her for therapy because she had disappeared. Not literally, but the wee daughter that they knew had just disappeared. She used to be this little ball of dancing energy that would make friends with anybody and talk to loads of people and play all the time. And now what they had with this was this withdrawn, anxious kind of person who wanted to make herself smaller, and they couldn't work out why. And when I started to dig in behind it, I found one of the most common teenage girl problems hiding behind all that anxiety. By the way, if you've never met me before, my name is Brian. I help families, teenagers with mental health and communication and all these types of things. So if you want more of that, please like, follow, subscribe. In short, what's going on is growing up, but we don't remember what growing up feels like, so we kind of miss the signs. But there's a very specific thing that's going on, especially again in teenage girls. I don't know if I've said this, but I'll do another video on what happens to boys, because the same thing happens, just shows up differently. As we grow up, we start to realize that we're losing our childhood, that especially for young girls, where there are so many changes, you know, physical changes, emotional changes, hormonal changes, there's a lot going on for a girl between about 11 and 14. So as this inevitable march of time begins to happen, for many young girls, they hit basically a freak out. They hit this understanding that they can't stop it. And what happens psychologically is they are so desperate to stay in their childhood, they realize that they are losing so much. And it can become absolutely overwhelming for many of them. And that's exactly what was happening with this young girl. And that weight was just sitting on these tiny little shoulders, and she didn't know how to handle it. What this actually needs from a therapeutic point of view is actually quite easy. It just needs them to realize that it isn't just this hard line, that there's time and there's learning that needs to happen. This is not just one day you go to sleep a young girl and you wake up a young woman. That's not quite how it works. What I helped her understand is that actually the part of her that wanted to have all that fun and fire and energy, and the part of her that realized the responsibility of growing up, don't need to be separate. In fact, what they can be is a balanced team inside her head. And albeit that we've only done one session so far, mum and dad could already notice the difference in somebody just explaining that to her. If you've got an 11 to 13-year-old that's beginning to, or 14-year-old that's beginning to disappear, pay attention to whether or not the weight of womanhood is already sitting on the shoulders of somebody that's maybe a little bit too young to understand what that means and is really scaring herself with the thoughts inside her head.